The Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Joining us on the Bobby V Sports Tech Hotline is the one and only Tim Brando, one of the best sportscasters, basically over almost the last 50 years, now working with Fox Sports. How are you, Mr. Brando? Happy New Year and, happy holidays.
Happy New Year to you too, my friend, and it's great to be with you guys. I come to you with a little bit of a heavy heart. I should have been packing my bags today to come your way for Saturday's game at Gamble Pavilion. Unfortunately, I lost a dear friend on New Year's Eve, my daughter's godfather and a golfing partner of mine and a neighbor who lived just 3 doors down and was here when we built our home when we moved from Connecticut back home to my hometown in Shreveport, Louisiana. So I've got to be a pallbearer on Saturday and eulogize my friend Jim Reiser, and I had to bail out of the game on Fox on Saturday. So I'm sorry I'm not going to make it, but I will be back there a couple of times. The game on the 22nd and the game on the 25th are both my games. So
January?
Let's try to get together. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's try to do dinner.
So,
could you let me know when you're going to be here and all that stuff?
Yeah. One of those for one of those trips for sure we need to do that.
Yeah.
So I believe the games are against Butler and Xavier. And the Xavier game could be just unbelievable. That could be a wild one. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let me pick your brain then with the college basketball since you brought it up. UConn's taken 2 tough losses in the Big East. They were 14-0 before that. They're now 14-2. And I'm not really worried about the rankings. I'm worried about the team. Your thoughts on trying to rebound and get yourself back on track. What do you think the UConn Huskies need to start doing better?
Just execute. They got it together. I mean, in today's college basketball, Dibs, you're not going to run the table. I mean, we're not going to see. There's a reason Indiana in '76 was the last team that went through undefeated. And what Kentucky did back in 2015, getting all the way to the national semifinals before losing to Wisconsin, was pretty incredible. And that was a loaded team that Calipari had that year. I don't think it'll ever happen again. I don't think we'll see an undefeated team in Division I college basketball in this day and time with the transfer portal and everything else that's going on out there. I just don't think any one roster can be that far superior to another. Now, that said, I still believe Connecticut is the most complete basketball team that I've seen. I'd put Arizona, the current number 1, as that other team. And as you know, Purdue lost at home as well to Rutgers, the second consecutive year that Rutgers has knocked off Purdue when they were number 1. So they're not alone. Providence is an incredible story, and they came along at a very bad time. The Xavier game was winnable, and Xavier's playing really well. Sean Miller is a heck of a coach. And they, getting him to be back on the sidelines, even with all of the baggage that presumably was there with the FBI probe, and nothing came of it for him. It affected his assistants, but not him. Sean's a great sideline bench coach. I mean, he really is. And Connecticut was right there, and I thought played with a very similar edge that they had played in all their other games, including those on the road that they had won. And then they let it get away. And this time the technical really hurt Danny. I thought it really came at an inopportune time. And so you lose a close one there. But what can happen from time to time is when you lose a game like that, it's emotional, it's on the road. You got what? Another road game, and it's against Providence. Against the Friars, your rival in New England, with, a team that Ed Cooley he's as good a big game coach as there is. I mean, he is. And talking about the transfer portal, he really worked it good. Getting Bryce Hopkins to the job he's done is just amazing. And this is now an undefeated team in the league, and Providence is going to be a factor if they can stay injury-free. They're not particularly deep, but Ed is accustomed to that. I think UConn for the long haul is still the class of the league, and that will, I think, work itself out as the season goes on. This is a very important game with Creighton coming up because they've got Kalkbrenner back. And, they lost 6 in a row after being picked as the preseason top team in the Big East. So I really am bummed that I'm not going to be there for the game. I think you're going to see a wild one and probably the most competitive game that they've had at Gamble Pavilion really since that Georgetown game, which the last time Georgetown played well was the game that Raft and I had, in December when they actually got a lead in the second half. No team had a lead on UConn in the second half until that game. I still think the Huskies are going to be fine, though. I really do. You're just too complete in too many areas, and I think ultimately the Huskies will be the team cutting down the nets.
Are we good at guard? Are we good at a guy that is a floor general out there? We love Andre, and we love when he has the ball in his hands and he can do things that a lot of people in this country can't do. But it does feel like we're lacking some kind of veteran leadership. Like R.J. Cole was a hard one to lose after last year's team.
Yeah, but Newton, see, that was the question. And I asked Danny that when we were there for the Georgetown game. Tristan Newton is a kid that I think if you check his background and really he's played well defensively, he's done a good job. But we did not know until really this week at Xavier, and I think it was exposed a little bit at Providence, that if there is a vulnerability, to UConn, it is that pure prolific point guard is not there. He's more of a lead guard. He's a complementary guard. Now, you can smooth it over, and Danny has said this, and I agree with him. You can smooth over the lack of a true point guard by saying that everybody on the floor can handle the ball and create their own shot. And that's true with UConn. I mean, it is. That's not coaching. That's not coach speak. That's reality. But there are times in games, specifically in late game situations, when you really do want to be preserving a possession, and you need that point guard that you can trust. And I think that's yet to be determined for Danny and who that person can be. I think in late game situations, Jackson might be the guy. But we'll see as time rolls on. But as I said, I don't think Newton's done anything that's not good. I just don't think that he's met the criteria necessarily of other guards. Cole was great, and I know he was dynamic and the fans loved him, but he was more of a lead guard, not a pure point. He was a guy that would drive and draw and kick out and could also score for you. And he was tough in closing moments of games. No doubt about that. You really wanted him on the floor. If you didn't have him, it could hurt you. That happened with foul difficulty. He fouled out of the game at Seton Hall last year, and if he had been on the floor, they might have won the game. So I get you. That's a great question, and I think it probably will be the prevailing question about UConn moving forward.
Talking to Tim Brando from Fox Sports. Okay, on Monday, Georgia plays TCU. How in the world does TCU beat Georgia? And is it more that Sonny Dykes knows Kirby Smart and has known him for a while that he can maybe outcoach him?
Well, I don't know that you can outcoach Kirby the way he's handling the bench these days. My God, that timeout, Dibs, that he called on the fake punt formation
was incredible.
Won him the game. I mean, that won him the game. Ohio State had them on the ropes, and if that drive had continued, I don't think Georgia has a chance to win that game. So, to have a sense of when they were lining up and seeing a formation that he thought was just strange enough to get the timeout called before they could run the play, my God. I mean, and the special teams coach or whoever was the eyes and ears upstairs in the booth that was getting in touch with them deserves, an assistant coaching award because that was a hell of a call. I thought two things that cost Ohio State were basically the loss of Harrison, and I don't think that was a targeting call. I had no problem with the targeting being wiped off in the end zone there when that ball hung in the air and Harrison was trying to make the catch in the back of the end zone. But losing Harrison at the time that they did. Remember, the tight end was already in the hospital. They did not have Smith and Jigba as their best receiver. Egbuka was out. He had gotten hurt. So it's Fleming and basically Harrison that was left. And, their running game was minimized by Georgia's defensive front. They needed Harrison for that last drive to get them closer for that last field goal. They needed one more first down to give that kid, a 42 to 43 yarder, and I don't think he would have pulled it if he had been inside 48 yards. Being outside 48 to 51, 52 yards, that was clearly an overkick. That's what a guy does when he's trying too hard to hit the ball perfectly and with a little more oomph. It's like a guy on the first tee dibs who really wants to look good in front of the gallery, and he just hooks his drive.
A guy or dibs?
How do you know my golf game so well?
Yeah, I mean,
damn, that's me. He wouldn't hurt anybody watching.
When you go all nasty boys on the tee,
that's right,
and you got people in the gallery ducking, that's what happens.
But okay? I do hit it well, and the trees all scream.
It's impressive.
Well, by the way, the good news is, Dibs, that's not a choke. That's more of a, gosh, I wanted it too badly gag. It's not a choke.
Right.
No, Ben's golfed with me enough, Tim, that he knows I call that a double. I will call it, that's a single up the middle, that's a double, it's a gapper.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. But the bottom line is Georgia won that game not playing their best and being outplayed. I mean, Ohio State controlled that football game for the most part. But TCU, by the way, did the same thing. TCU won that game with a defense that had been maligned all week, being told that they weren't strong enough and that 3-3-5 finesse D from the Big 12 would not work with big boy, brawn, Big Ten football. And they played with an edge, too. Their linebackers, D. Winters, was incredible. The two corners who are going to play in the NFL made picks and pick sixes, two of them. The transfer safety that went to ULM, my school, and transferred, Josh Newton made a great play on that crazy double reverse pass that Harbaugh wanted on that opening drive inside the 5-yard line. And, the defense held Michigan to 3 points on 3 trips inside the red zone and had 2 pick sixes. Duggan did not play well. I mean, not by his standards. He was 14 of 29 for like 259 or 260. That's well below pedestrian for him. But their resiliency, they are so resilient. Every time Michigan made a run at them, they made a play. That 3rd and 8 with the ball, I think, inside their 25. Duggan gets a blitz, and he has a check down to Quentin Johnston, who is a freakish wide receiver. He'll be the best wide receiver on the field on Monday night. He makes that catch, sprints down the sidelines, and they get the lead back from 5 to 12 again. That was a huge play for TCU. I think the Horned Frogs are in this. I picked TCU to beat Michigan. I think you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
I also picked Ohio State to beat Georgia, and they almost did. They covered the spread easily. But the bottom line is Georgia has got just way too much strength, power, and size, in my opinion, that they will be able to survive TCU. But I think the Horned Frogs are going to cover the 13.5 or 14 or whatever it is. They're just too good, and they are as resilient as Georgia is. They're no fluke. This is, and they've already won in a manner of speaking. For this team to be really the first true Cinderella story, a non-blue blood, a team that's not in either the Big Ten or the SEC, and to be the first Big 12 team to get to the championship. Not Oklahoma. Oklahoma could never get past the semifinal, and not Texas. They've not even gotten there. For TCU to be that team, it's in a lot of ways they've already achieved more than they ever thought perhaps they might, and that says a lot. And I think it sends a strong message that going to 12 is something that we've needed for some time, and it will make it even better in the future because it is about matchups. Guys, think about this. Now, I know it wasn't played on a semifinal New Year's Eve night, but imagine if the American Conference representative, Tulane, they would have been the team from the group of 5 that would be in a 12-team playoffs. Okay, that's mandated. That's part of it. The group of 5 team with the best record is going to be in. Imagine that game as a 12 versus 5 matchup in the expansion playoffs. How much fun and how much more joy would we have gotten out of that Cotton Bowl if that had been the case between Tulane and USC? Think about that. I mean, it was unbelievable. Just an unbelievable game. And, that program beat Kansas State earlier in the year, and they might as well have been in witness protection. They got so little publicity this year. So I think the outlook for college football has never been brighter.
You said your friend's name. Is it Jim Nichols?
Jim Reiser.
Oh, Jim Reiser. Jim
passed away.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I know it's going to be a tough weekend for you. You and his family will be in our prayers, my friend, and we'll see you when you get up here.
Thank you, man. We'll make it work. And it's always a pleasure being on with you guys. I hope you know that. And I look forward to seeing you and ringing in the new year a little bit late in the first month of the year. Okay?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. God bless you, buddy.
Thank you, Tim.
You too. All the best.
All right. Take care. That's Tim Brando, everybody. We'll take a quick break. We'll do Dibbles and Bits next.